Computer, can you hear me? When it turns white, it's open. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, when it red and white. Can you do it? ¿Qué doing, señor? Here. I wonder if I can hear you guys. Jesus, check 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you.
Thank you.
Marty, is that you on the telephone with ending 18?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. I know who that was.
It's me.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Dinah.
How are you, Sina?
I'm good. How are you, dear?
I'm good. Staying above water. I haven't spoke to you in a while.
Who has time?
Has my accounts payable person called you? I don't think we've paid for our books. There I am talking. This is before the meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to pay for our books, I think, for the first semester. For the group.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to you guys because I'm fighting with MBS to get your guys' tax credit.
Okay.
I'll get it to you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Okay. We are all present, so let's just start this thing and call it to order. Marty Sweeney,
Here.
Councilman Montoya,
Present.
Dinah Minus,
Present.
Francina Martinez,
Present.
Alan Franken,
Present.
The other Councilwoman Rodriguez emailed me, said she had an emergency. She wouldn't be making it to this meeting. Also included in this meeting is the city manager, Dr. Taylor. So, approval of the agenda. It's a short agenda. So, election of chairperson and a vice chair. So we want to go ahead and nominate a chairperson and a vice chair.
I
Okay,
nominate
Mr.
Councilman Mike Montoya.
Who was that, Marty? You're echoing.
I'm sorry. I nominate Councilman Mike Montoya as a chairperson.
I'm not sure if our council.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have served as chairman before, Mr. Vaqueras. Just to give you a brief history of myself, when I served as city councilman the year 2002 to 2006, Mayor Marquez, Councilman Marquez at the time, was the chairman of the finance committee. He declined after a year of service, and I was a vice chair, and I automatically took it over for the last 3 years of my term in office. At the present time, I just want to be involved with the finance committee and see where we go, and I have no objections to the nomination, and if I stand for any questions that anybody might have. Or other nominations, they're
According
open.
to the bylaws, you are not allowed to vote, so would that
Yeah.
be a hindrance?
Yeah, no, Chairman, Mr. Vaquera, as a city councilman and our city councilwoman, we will not be having a vote on any issue that comes before the finance committee. The voting members are the members of the community, the ones that have been appointed by mayor and council, which we strictly would be only as advisory or as recommendation. We have no vote, whether we're just members or if we're in office.
Any more recommendations?
Well, it's Alan Frank, and I'll second the nomination.
Okay. Nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Alan Frank.
Point of order, Mr. Vaquera, you should have a vote and then move on to the vice chair if nomination ceased.
Okay. Proceed with voting for chair.
I think you need a second, Jesus, and then a vote.
There was a second and first, Mr. Taylor.
Okay.
First motion was by
Marty Sweeney.
Marty and second was by Mr. Alan Franklin, was it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So before we move on to vice president, we would have to have either cease of nominations or any other nominations. And if there's none,
I move for cessation.
Second.
I think she was just calling the question, Marty.
No, I just said I moved for cessation of nominations.
in other words, to close nominations, to cease nominations.
Yes, sir.
So then you call for the question, Mr. Vaquera.
Okay, voting for chair. Francina?
Aye. Normally you would say all in favor.
All
then
in
ask for any
favor?
opposed.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Showing none, you move forward, Mr. Vaqueras, to Vice Chair.
Okay. Nominations for Vice Chair is on the
I
table.
nominate Alan Franken.
Is there a second?
Second,
I'll second it.
see some nominations. All approved.
Any other nominations?
Any other nominations?
I move for closure.
I'll second it.
Now you
All
can go ahead and
approved.
put up. Now you can put it up for the vote.
All approved.
Aye.
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 Okay. We got Councilman Michael Montoya as the chair. We got Mr. Alan Franken as the vice chair. Under other businesses, I sent all of you a spreadsheet with 5-year history of budget and actuals for the city. And this is just the general fund. So did you guys take a look at it? Do you have any questions?
This is all for prior year, correct? Nothing in here for this year. This is all just for
This is the last 5 years, yeah.
nothing for this fiscal year.
No.
Could you just explain the transfers section, Mr. Vaquera?
Okay. We transfer monies out of the general fund for other specific purposes. They'll be in the descriptions. It'll tell you where they're going money out and money coming in. If you look at just 2020, we had 844,000 going out for the rec center, transportation. What else is in here? Fund 282, which is if I'm not mistaken, that's also your transportation. So most of it's going to transportation and the rec center.
And we don't have do you treat the rec center as an enterprise fund like the gas? We don't see the rec center in any of the detail on the budget.
Right.
Yeah, it's in there, but it's probably called parks.
Oh, it's under parks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. City parks? Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Just parks.
Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, I see parks on page 11.
Yeah. They reclassified the rec center and combined it with parks, along with, they split up the public works.
And so when you say you transferred that 800,000, I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it. And the reason why you did is because you had unforeseen expenditures that would come up to that amount,
No, it's,
budget
we
preparation.
use general fund monies to run the rec center.
Okay, but at the beginning, when you first budgeted, okay,
Yeah.
at that point, that's where I'm saying, was it that you didn't allocate enough at the time, or you're just transferring into that?
It's always been custom practice for the funding of the rec center to be a transfer.
I see.
So Dinah, just to answer your question, I think that if we looked at this in a format of sources and uses, some of, it is treated as an enterprise fund. Maybe it shouldn't be because it cannot support itself. It needs a transfer from the general fund to support it. And this is a budget we need to deal with in the future. There's also some, I think that there's a transparency issue, because one of their major costs are utilities costs that are covered in another budget. And so I don't know why they did it that way, maybe to make the books look better for that particular department, but we need to be transparent about what it actually costs us to run the rec center.
Okay. So you're taking from your operational fund to support the rec center, correct? That's what it's
Yes.
like. Say
Yes.
it's self-sustaining, so you're having to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. I've seen that happen before.
Yep.
I have food service. My food service department runs in the negative, Yeah, and you're doing it, and to me, it's called a cash transfer request that requires board approval, okay? Which this probably does as well, correct? You are going through your council to get prior approval to transfer these funds?
They all get approved at the budget hearing.
Okay.
And this is before, not after, right?
Yes.
Now, this is very new to us, obviously to me, I mean, to some of us. So I just have to kind of figure out as we go along. The transfer though, on 400,000 that might go to Rex, no, 324 goes to Rex. And if it's in the parks, the whole budget for parks was 231,000. So that, like you said, it may have been split out somewhere, but we'll catch up with you eventually on where all those numbers are.
Okay.
The other question I had is Public Works our streets department?
Public Works includes streets and also our facilities.
Wow, we only have 421,000 for all that department?
I think a lot of the expenditures, that's probably operating expenditures. You have a lot of capital expenditures that are showing up someplace else.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Okay. If I may, so at another meeting, and these meetings are every 3 months? Is that what you had told me, Mr. Baquera, at one point?
Yes, it's quarterly.
Just so that we can get familiar with the revenues, okay, your funds, like right now, today we're just talking about operational, correct? We're just talking about what gets paid from this particular.
From the general fund, yes.
Right. And let's say at another time that we meet, what other accounts do you have besides this one?
The enterprise, I'll introduce you guys to the enterprise funds on the next meeting.
On the next meeting,
Yeah,
just to see what your whole budget is made of.
gotcha. So,
I got a couple of this Councilman Montoya. I got a couple of issues that I'd like to discuss. First of all, I guess on the agenda you had other appointments, if necessary, which I don't believe there is, if I'm correct. And then the next item on the agenda would be what's the fourth item under, Mr. Vaqueras? Just
Analysis of bylaws.
okay. Do we have bylaws for this committee in place?
I sent all of you the bylaws.
Okay.
And
Now, did everybody review them? Because I didn't. I don't know if I got him or not. I don't think I got him. But did anybody have a chance to review the bylaws?
I read
I
them.
did.
Okay.
I read
Yeah, I
it.
read mine.
You gotta attend the meetings. If you miss 3 meetings, they can vote you out.
Mhm.
Okay.
But you really don't want to. It's so hard to find people to come to your meeting. You want to come and sit there, you know. I do anyway. I treat my finance committee members, I thank them for coming and being a part of, you know.
Which reminds me, do you want us to sign these and send them back to you, Jesus?
I like for everyone to sign those bylaws and submit them back to Mr. Vaqueras. And also, I'd like to go ahead and ask for a motion to approve this bylaws in a second and a vote on them also. So if at this time I open up for a motion on the floor to approve the bylaws of this committee.
I make
So
the
moved.
motion. to approve.
Mr. Vaqueras, are you taking notes?
yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And who's the second?
I
The
made
only
the motion.
question, yeah, but the only question I have is, because of COVID and everything, meetings on this were set to be held over in the,
Council room.
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're gonna wanna change that a little bit to, virtual for a little while, cause who knows how long before that changes.
Yeah. Francis, if you don't mind, move your camera a little bit further down so we can see you
Sure.
and see when you're speaking. Or there you go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so I don't know if you're gonna wanna change that or maybe just adjust that or what you wanna do.
Well, it's a common practice because of the COVID that everybody is meeting online now or virtual. And once this is over with, we'll be coming back to the chambers and meeting at the chambers. Now, the order as it stands right now is we can't have gatherings more than 10 people, 10 people in one room. So I think we're like 7 of us, but our meetings have to be open to the public. And right now, the public is viewing this and they're listening into it. They cannot talk into it or ask any questions or interrupt or anything like that. But there are open communications to the public right now as we speak, and they're for informational purposes only. And every board, commission, or a committee for the city of Las Vegas will have to be doing the same thing. And we got to make sure that we are advertising it to the public on our website and also like through the Las Vegas Daily Update or the radio stations that we're having meetings. And that's with every board, commission due to the Open Meetings Act. So for now, this is what we'll be doing. And I don't know, I can open this up to the committee members if they want to do once a month meeting for now and then cut back down to every 3 months. It's up to you how you want to do the meetings. I'm available at any given time. So if we want to keep it a month away from today, on the 25th, on a Thursday again in March, I mean, you guys make the suggestion. I don't know how you guys feel, how often you want to meet. When I was chairman years ago, we met once a month, and but it's up to you guys. You guys decide. This is your board. This is your committee.
Well, Chairman Montoya, I wouldn't mind meeting once a month. I mean, at least till we can get an understanding here. And I know public meeting, this is a public meeting. I wouldn't mind having a little work session at some point to get our feet grounded in the finances a little better, especially when we can meet in person and see the documents. This is tough.
Yeah.
To have maybe on this computer the spreadsheet on the budget, and but I certainly would make myself available earlier than 1 quarter from now, each month for the first 2 or 3 months. And I think just so we can get a better understanding, the people that have not seen the city budget, city finance area before.
And again, that's why I'm suggesting that the board decide if we should do one meeting per month for this year, for instance, and then once if we feel comfortable of what's going on and that we can change it to every other month or every 3 months. But as it is right now, like the DRT met yesterday here at the chambers, and there was 8 people involved. So I don't know if you guys want to do that for the next meeting, and that way we can iron out all this stuff and get the whole budget and talk about it and go from there. The public will be involved in it, whether it's a work session or not.
Okay.
I think that would be a good idea because we are, like me, I'm coming into this cold. This is Marty Sweeney. I have no, I don't know what's going, like you say, what's going on. We can see the spreadsheet and all, but I think it would behoove us to get together and see and have it explained to us and any questions that we might have, plus with the public input also. I think that's a very good idea there, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I want to back up one step back, and I'm still going to ask the floor if they have a motion to approve the bylaws. And then we'll move on forward with the meetings.
I think we did have a motion.
On the bylaws?
Yes.
And the second?
I can second it.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none, we have approved the bylaws. And now I'd like to go ahead and ask for direction on your meetings. When do we want to have a meeting? Every month? And is it the same date as today? Or what do you guys suggest? What do you want to recommend?
I would like for it to be like every month, like on a set date, like the 25th of every month, like you say, for the first year or maybe even 6 months. Once we get our feet wet and we understand this better, I think that would be a good thing to do.
Mr. Montoya,
Yes, ma'am.
in the past, what was it that you all, when you used to sit on it before, what all did you all discuss back then? What was on your agenda? Because it would be a continuous monthly. What is it that you discussed?
Basically, the entire budget. Anything that any member wanted to discuss, particularly the budget adjustments that are being made, and those are done frequently. I know that Councilman Romero was the one that requested that we'd have a midterm adjustment to the budget, and we did a midterm adjustment a couple of weeks ago, and it was a big one. $750,000. That's a lot of money, but it was well spent and it was well directed. But those things have to be done in order to not wait till the end of the year. But other things that were discussed is mostly the finance director will have most of the answers or all the answers. Our city manager can answer some of those questions that we might have for them as far as the recreation center. How come we're so much in debt through the recreation center? What's going on with the COVID that we're not having kids there and stuff like that? How is it affecting the budget? Now, right now, this governing body went and with this administration's recommendations, we went and combined the streets department with utilities. So Maria is the overall director of the streets department now, which is and for different reasons. They have less equipment and they have less of a budget and so forth. And this way they can help each other more with other departments in the utilities, helping them out. As you guys noticed, this last snowstorms, the utilities people, employees were out there helping with their equipment. Because of course they bring in more revenues through the utilities, so they can afford to buy more equipment. So that's one reason that they were combined. The other thing that this administration did with the staff's recommendation is that we combined the parks. The parks have been neglected for many years, and it didn't have equipment. They still don't have equipment, and we combined them with the recreation center. The recreation center has always been a deficit to the budget, and rightfully so, because it's a service that the city provides. So, in order to our director at the recreation center to have more assistance with parks and with the recreation center, the Rodriguez Parks, and now the Cainas River Park, we combine them together so that they can have more employees and more can get done. So those kind of things are discussed in the finance committee as far as how the money is being spent and if there's any adjustments that need to be made. As chairman, I will have an open book policy for the finances of the city of Las Vegas. We're in good standings, and you'll see that as we go along. I think we have good management. Mr. Vaqueras and Mr. Taylor are pretty good at numbers, and the background that Mr. Taylor has, working at the legislature and at Highlands, brings good quality of accountability and accounts and in accounting in our finance department. So there's a lot of things that have changed since the past administration and since the past 20 years. A lot of things were put to the wayside, and right now we helped out the small business owners in Las Vegas with a $325,000 grant that we received due to COVID. So those are kind of things that we're doing to move forward. There's a lot of challenges before us. Buildings that we got to renovate, or some homes that we got to abate in town. Do we have the money to do it? Is there a fund available? Those kind of things have to be discussed through the finance committee. But overall, we're asking for I don't know. I think it's like $20 million, Mr. Taylor, from the legislature this year. Something like that. We have like 12 requests. One of them is $625,000 for the Rodriguez Park complex. We're asking for renovations to our dams. We're asking for funding for water lines to be replaced. We're asking for water for streets repairs to be done. And we have a lot of things going on. But we're still dealing with management. We hired a city manager. We hired a finance director. We hired an economic development director. We hired a new chief of police. So there's been a lot of changes in the last year that I've been here. And all of them basically for the betterment of the citizens of Las Vegas. And that's what we got to keep in mind. That's what we were working for. I get off my soapbox, but those kind of things are the ones that are discussed at any finance committee, and everyone will have a chance to ask their questions. And if they don't understand something, it will be explained, and so forth. I mean, I don't know it all. I'm one of those that is willing to ask questions when I need to ask a question, when I need to have an answer in order to move forward. And as a finance committee, you guys will be making recommendations to mayor and council. And those recommendations are going to be taken wholeheartedly. And I'll tell you that this mayor and council any mayor and council has never had this many committees, boards, and commissions at any given time in history. We have the most committees and the most people attending those committees, because I believe that they believe in hope. They have hope that this administration is going in the right direction, and they want to be a part of it. And I'll tell you one good example. The Watershed Alliance and the Friends of the Gainas are doing a remarkable job with the Gainas River. If you guys haven't visited or walked through there, go through there. I encourage you. But again, the city of Las Vegas is asking for $225,000 to do some upgrades there, and there's already been like $1 million spent on that project. But those two organizations have involved the community, and they have involved the schools. So that's what we're looking at as a whole, as the city of Las Vegas, that departments help departments out when they need, that all the organizations step up to the plate and do their part. And this way we can move forward with projects in their community that are in dire need or way long coming. So. But feel free to ask any questions. No question is going to be a dumb question.
Mr. Montoya, I'd like to just make a couple of comments.
Yes, sir, Mr. Stone.
So all of those things that Councilman Montoya talked about are really important, but I think some of the questions that you all raised, Francina and also Alan, is that our current budget document is practically indecipherable to somebody who's not an accountant. And so one of the things we want to do is make it a much more friendly document that tells a story. There's no narrative anywhere in that document. They're telling us what the department's goals and what their priorities are and what they're asking for additional money for. We want to do that for the council to help them make decisions in adopting or modifying the budget proposal, and also to this committee and to the general public. So that, when you ask, where's that money coming? What's that transfer for? It's more or less that something is explainable in the document itself, and maybe with a little bit of help from us. But we need to have a document that really is transparent and tells a story. That's what budgets should do. They should tell us what are the city's priorities and how are they planning to get there, and whether they've done it or not. So that's something I hope that we can all work on together too.
Yeah, I think this is Marty once again. I think transparency is a key word there, because the people will see that this is happening and there's no explanation. But I think you are so right in transparency. That is a very good word. I think we need to be more transparent in a lot of things and know where it's coming from, where it's going to, and why. That is wonderful. Yes, thank you.
Any other questions on the Finance Committee?
What is your accounting software that you use, Mr. Baqueta?
Tyler 10 in code.
Is there a document that states all your budgets, like, let's say, a budget balance report? Okay, that's what I use, okay, for my finance committee meetings. Okay, I have a finance committee once a month, and what I present to my meeting is the budget balance report. I report all the expenditures on a monthly basis to them. I cover all my bars, okay? If it's an increase, decrease, whatever it may be, and all my budget entries and journal entries, okay? And anything else that anyone may ask of me, Dinah, where did you guys pay for this? I didn't see it on this expenditure report this month. Was this done prior, or whatever question it is, but but continuity is very important. Okay, and if this is starting from ground zero, I can see why some members do want to meet on a monthly basis so that we can all get affiliated with all the funds. Okay, I have that I present is I have 40 funds. Okay, but it's it's a 3-page document. It starts with the name of the fund, starts with what the budget was at the very beginning of the year, what did we expend for this current month, what we are at year to date, what I still have in encumbrances, and what at the end, what I have at a budget balance ending. Okay, and I provide that on a monthly basis. And we normally stay maybe about an hour and a half to cover everything that I just mentioned.
We do have a 4-page report that we report to the council every month. It's revenue and expenditures for the general fund, the enterprise fund, the rec center, and lodger's tax. That's what we have in the queue right now. Tyler will give us detailed reports for all our funds, but it turns out to be pretty much a book that thick.
Is that your budget book? Is that what that is you just showed us?
Yep. This is FY21 budget.
Okay.
It is that thick.
That's not too bad.
Hmm.
That's what mine is.
I know we have copies of it laying around.
Yeah.
I will see if I have enough and distribute it to you guys, so that you can take a look at it and we can discuss it in more detail next month.
But at that level, to that one's kind of hard to to understand for someone else that's besides like me. I mean, I know I'm not saying that I know everything. I promise you I don't. But that can be complicating because I have everybody has their own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was just trying to say, do you have a document that would say what all your funds are? Well, maybe it's even in that book. It's got to be. I know I print mine out and I put all my revenues and my expenditures. Maybe it's 8-10 pages. You know what I'm saying? But
Mr. Baqueras will be working out of a 3 or 4-page document, which has a completely breakdown of all the areas of the city government's budget. And then once you look at it, and if we need to ask for more information other than that, then we'll proceed in that fashion.
And I don't want to be difficult. I'm here to help.
No.
I'm here to give a helping hand to my little Las Vegas that I love dearly. I'm still here, right? Been here all my life, so
we're all still here.
I'm here to make our jobs, anybody's job here, any more difficult than it can be, because I know that can get stressful too. Okay, when I've had instances where one of my members says, "Well, Dana, this line doesn't add up on the payroll," and I'm like, "That's the payroll, that's the deposit," and I'm trying to explain to him, and it sometimes gets sticky, but that's not why we're here. We're all here, like you said, Mr. Montoya. Hey, there's a lot of subcommittees that just shows that people care, and that's why we're here. We just want to help.
Thank you. The other item that I had on this, it's not on the agenda, but it needs to be taken care of. According to our city charter, Article 5 or 6, the terms of office for regular members of the boards or commissions shall be a 4-year term, but they need to be staggered. I don't know what that was, but they need to be staggered. So we need to figure out how many members we have. How many do we have, Mr. Vaqueras?
6.
6. Okay, so then we got to cut down 3 for a 2-year term and 3 more for a 4-year term. That way, there's always rotation, and some people stay on board. According to this charter, that's what it requires of boards and commissions. You know what? I might be corrected on this because I was just reading through it again, and this is basically for boards and commissions. It does not say anything about committees. So I'll let it go, and I'll research it some more. And if that's the case, then we will address it at our next meeting. And also, Mr. Vaquera's, I believe there's another item that we need to bring before this committee before we move on. Oh, and that's the Opens Meetings Act that we got to approve once a year. The way the mayor and council approve theirs. Every committee has to approve theirs, so we'll have that on our next agenda, our next meeting.
Okay.
Any other questions, concerns, or comments? None? Mr. Allen, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay. So then we'll go ahead and set up a meeting for next month, March the 25th on a Thursday again at same time, 3:30 p.m. And did you want to do it in person or did you want to do it virtual? We can do an in-person. If it's less than 10 people here at the chambers, we will still have to open it up to the public the way we did on this one through Google.
I think meeting in person if we can safely, I believe we can. And it just makes it so much more productive, in my opinion.
I do. We could do it in person. If it's probably by that time, hopefully it will get better. It's getting better, slow but sure on this COVID stuff. But I would like to meet in person. I think it would behoove us to do that, to get to know one another better.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I think one of the things is that the committee needs to, this gets back to your research, but I think we have to have minutes within a certain period of time after each meeting. So the question is, who's going to take those minutes and how do we get them approved?
Normally we get somebody from staff to do those minutes for us.
The admin for the finance department couldn't be at this meeting, but she will normally be taking notes. I've taken the notes. I will have the minutes for approval on our next meeting. We do have to give a copy of the notes to Cassandra within 10 days, but the approval can wait till the next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Vaqueras. The safety patterns that we'll have to follow here at City Hall is that when you do come into the meeting, we will be set up apart, 8 feet apart at least, in the chambers. And you will have to take a temperature. An employee will take your temperature before you come in, and you'd have to wear your face mask. I'm not wearing mine because I'm the only one in here today. So, but those are the precautionary measures that we're taking. And then, of course, not more than 10 people will be able to be here. But again, it'll be open up in YouTube, in Google for the public to attend and be informed. So with that said, we'll have our next meeting. Mr. Vaqueras, if you'll do me a favor and send out the notices, I'll work with you on an agenda. Members, if you all have anything that you want to see on that agenda at any given time, please feel free to let me know. You can call me or you can email me at the City Hall address. Okay. I do have a mailbox at City Hall, and it's over at the mayor's office. If there's, if you prefer, drop off a mail on some incidents. I don't know if there's anything else that anybody else might want to add.
Is there a
I'd
time?
like to thank all of you guys for your time and consideration. Looking forward to working with you guys.
Are we
Same
setting
here.
a time or just a date? Are we setting a time?
Same time,
3:30.
3:30 p.m. Yeah. Same time, same date, same Thursday the 25th.
Can we change that? Can it be like the last Thursday or the third Thursday of the month? What is this? Yeah. Instead of it being the 25th, because the 25th it may not be Thursday again.
It is on Thursday, but my battery went dead right now, so I don't know.
It is a Thursday.
It is?
At that time, but it's kind of nice. It would be kind of nice to have it the same day and time. Like the fourth Thursday, as far as I'm concerned, would work fine, which would be the 25th for this coming month.
Yes,
So the fourth Thursday of every month.
yes.
That would work.
And
Okay.
it'll probably land up on the 25th about 3 or 4 times throughout the year. Okay. Any other order of business? With that, I can open the floor for a motion to adjourn.
This is
So
Marty Sweeney. I'm motion for adjournment.
I'll second the
Second.
motion.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All opposed? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned at
Thank you all.
3:20, 4:20,
Or
4:20. Thank you all. See you next
Thank
month.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Good night.
thanks.
Take
Bye-bye.
care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.